The rain comes down hard. Aditi stands in the middle of the street, soaked, her dress clinging to her skin, her chest heaving like she's been running. But she has not been running. She's just been standing there, watching his car idle at the curb and working up the courage to say the thing she has been swallowing for months. She knocks on the window, once, twice. It rolls down 2 inches. Ji-hoon. Her voice cracks on the second syllable. Look at me. He doesn't. She can see his hands on the steering wheel through the glass, knuckles white, jaw tight, a stillness that costs him everything to hold. Look me in the eyes, she says, and now her voice is not cracking, it is breaking. Look me in the eyes and tell me you don't love me. Say it. Just say it and I will walk away. The car idles. His knuckles do not loosen. He does not look. The window rolls back up. Ji-hoon Yul drives away, leaving Aditi in the rain. She watches his taillights disappear and does not move for a very long time. She didn't plan to fall in love with him. But then again, neither did he. And if you think you already know this story, stay with me, because this one does not go where you think. The pitch deck has 14 slides. Aditi rewrites slide 9 for the 10th time. The Wi-Fi cuts out. It comes back. A bank notification pings at the top of her screen. She swipes it away before the numbers load. Some things are better left unread at this hour. This idea has lived in her chest for 2 years. She isn't sleeping until it has somewhere to go. She opens WhatsApp and records a voice note to Kwalima. 38 seconds. The summary is this. She has an idea, she needs money, and the amount is embarrassing. Kwalima calls back in 4 minutes. How much? Aditi says the number. 3 seconds of silence. Then, I know someone. That someone is Ji-hoon Yul. Kwalima met him at a tech summit a year ago. It was the kind of event where business cards change hands and eye contact is just a formality. Except Ji-hoon had done something unusual. He had asked Kwalima 3 questions about her work and actually waited for the answers. No nodding while looking past her shoulder. He actually listened, out of genuinely curious rather than professionally courteous. She had filed him under people worth remembering. He is Korean, runs a private investment firm out of Seoul, 36 years old, and by every visible measure has already won whatever game he entered. But beneath the tailored shirt and the quiet authority, he looks slightly tired of being impressive. Kwalima sends a message that night. He replies in 11 minutes. Aditi books a video call for the following Thursday. The video call opens. Ji-hoon is in a glass-walled office, jacket off, coffee going cold at his elbow. He has 12 minutes before his next meeting. He gives Aditi 3, which is how he starts every call with someone new. She takes 7. He doesn't stop her. At minute 5, he leans forward. By minute 7, something shifts behind his eyes. Send me the deck, he says. I already did, 2 minutes ago. He looks to the side, finds it, scrolls without speaking, looks back at her. And then, with the same energy a person uses to say, pass the salt, I'll sponsor it. Aditi ends the call. She walks to her bedroom, presses her face into a pillow, and screams until her throat hurts. In Seoul, Ji-hoon closes the pitch deck, picks up his cold coffee, and stares out the glass wall at the city below. He doesn't know why he said yes that fast. He never says yes that fast. He tells himself it is the idea. It is a good idea. That is all this is. He almost believes it. 6 months. Strictly professional. Ji-hoon's assistant handles the paperwork. Funds arrive in tranches. Aditi executes. She builds, hires 2 people, launches, adjusts, grows. The business works. But Kwalima is watching the numbers. Ji-hoon tops up the funding twice before Aditi even flags a shortfall. One evening, over suya and cold drinks, Kwalima brings it up. Aditi waves it off. He's protecting his investment. Kwalima looks at her. Twice. Before you asked. Kwalima, I'm just saying. You're always just saying. Kwalima picks up a piece of suya and says nothing else, but she does not look convinced. She has a habit of seeing the shape of things before they fully arrive. It is the most useful and the most annoying thing about her. 2 years pass. The business grows. Aditi grows with it. And then one evening, she walks into a tech gala wearing the red dress she bought with her first profit, and from across the room, someone raises a glass in her direction. Ji-hoon Yul, in person, unannounced, smiling like they are old friends. They exchange numbers. He says, "We should catch up properly." "Yes," she says, "we should." Neither of them knows what they are starting. But before we go any further, where are you watching this from? Drop it in the comments. I want to know who is in this room with me. And if this story already has you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. We are only just getting started. It begins with a meme. Not flowers, not a formal "let us reconnect" email. A meme. Sent at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, no caption, no context, just Ji-hoon, Korean billionaire, sending Aditi a piece of African internet humor that he has clearly been saving specifically for her. She is already in bed when it arrives. She sees it at 3 a.m. when she wakes up for water, squints at her phone in the dark, and laughs so hard her neighbor knocks on the wall. She replies with a Korean drama reaction clip. He sends back a voice note attempting an African accent. It's terrible. So bad, it's actually impressive. She counters with a Korean impression that's even worse. He sends 3 laughing emojis and then radio silence. He comes back the next morning. "What did you have for dinner?" She stares at the message. "Why?" "I want to know." She tells him. "A fang soup." He asks how it is made. She explains, expecting him to lose interest after the first 3 steps. He does not lose interest. He asks follow-up questions, specific ones, like what kind of leaves? How long does the meat cook first? Is the texture supposed to be thick or loose? 3 days later, he is on a video call standing in an expensive kitchen, looking deeply confused by the color of something in his pot. "This doesn't look right," he says. "Ji-hoon, what is that?" "It's a fang." "That is not a fang. That is a mistake." He turns the pot to face the camera. Aditi loses it. She laughs so hard she has to put the phone down, and he is still talking, still stirring, still defending his technique with the kind of conviction that has absolutely no basis in reality. When she picks the phone back up, he is tasting it with the expression of a man who has just made a terrible decision and knows it. "How bad?" she asks. He looks at the camera. "I've had worse." "You have not." "I have not," he agrees. And they laugh together across 12 time zones at 1 a.m. and 8 p.m. respectively, and neither of them says what that feels like, because some things are safer left unnamed. The flowers arrive on a Tuesday. Yellow ones. A note is tucked between the stems. "You mentioned liking yellow ones." She had said it once, casually, weeks ago in the middle of a conversation about something else entirely. She had not expected him to remember. She holds the note for longer than she means to. Then the books arrive. Titles she had mentioned wanting to read, some in passing, some months ago. Then spa vouchers, then a food delivery notification. He has, from Seoul, somehow arranged for her favorite restaurant to deliver to her door on a day she mentioned feeling exhausted. The late-night calls become their normal. He stays on the line even when neither of them is speaking, just existing in the same quiet. Her reading, him working, the silence comfortable in a way that usually takes years to build. One night he asks, "Do you ever get lonely?" "Sometimes," she says. "You?" A pause, then, "More than I let people see." She wants to ask more. She wants to pull that thread and follow it all the way to whatever is at the end of it. But he sends a meme 2 seconds later, and the window closes as fast as it opened, and she sits with the warmth of what he almost said. Kwalima comes over on a Saturday and picks up Aditi's phone the way best friends do, without asking, without apology. She scrolls. She scrolls for a long time. Then she sets the phone face down on the table with a specific kind of gentleness, the kind that means she is choosing her words carefully. ADT, don't. I haven't said anything yet. You have that face. What face? The face you make before you say something I don't want to hear. Kwalima looks at her. How long has this been going on? Nothing is going on. You are smiling at your phone at midnight. You saved his contact with a love emoji. You described his voice to me last week without me asking. She pauses. Nothing is going on? ADT opens her mouth. Close it. Then, he hasn't said anything. I know. So it's nothing until it's something. Kwalima looks at her the way only someone who has known you through every version of yourself can look at you. Not with judgment, but with love that has enough respect in it to tell you the truth. Just be careful, she says. That's all. ADT nods. She means it when she nods. But is ADT careful? She asks him things she has no business asking yet. What home feels like, if he's ever wanted to walk away from everything he's built, what he has never told anyone. He answers every question, thoughtfully, like a man who trusts her completely. One night, emboldened by the reckless honesty that comes by 1 a.m., she says, I'd marry someone who cooks for me. Then I need more practice, he says. She laughs. Then she types it, the thought she's been holding for weeks. She sends it before she can stop herself. Honestly, I'd probably just marry you. She watches the screen, 2 blue ticks, then a voice note. He is laughing, genuinely, warmly, the laugh she has come to know. And he does not say, you shouldn't feel that way. He does not create distance. He does not correct her. He just laughs and keeps going as though she has said something delightful, rather than a confession that cost her something to say. She takes that as a sign. What else is she supposed to take it as? Ji-hoon is not a fool. He's perceptive. He sees every green light she sends. He receives every one. And he says nothing to redirect her. He tells himself it's kindness, that naming it would make it worse. But ask yourself, is a man who lets a woman fall, watching it happen and doing nothing to stop it, is he being kind? Or is he being convenient? One afternoon, without warning, in the middle of a normal conversation, Ji-hoon asks, do you plan to get married someday? Something moves through Aditi's chest. She keeps her voice even. Why are you asking? In case someone I know is looking for a wife, he says easily. I'd recommend you. She smiles. She's decoding. She thinks, this is his way in. He's checking if the door is open. Ji-hoon, she says, do you have a girlfriend? Silence. Not the comfortable kind. Yes, he says, I do. The call continues. Aditi's voice does not shake. She says the right things, asks the right questions, and ends the call normally. She sets the phone face down on the table. Then she sits in the quiet of her apartment, surrounded by yellow flowers that are starting to wilt. She understands what Kwalima saw months ago. She types 4 words to Kwalima. You were right. Sorry. Kwalima replies in seconds. Come over, I'll make tea. But the story isn't that simple. The girlfriend isn't a secret he's been hiding carelessly. She isn't someone he chose over Aditi. She is a match arranged 2 years ago between 2 families, 2 fortunes, and 2 names that look good on paper. Ji-hoon hasn't said yes, but he hasn't said no. He is a man standing between the life he was built for and the life he is beginning to want. He connected with Aditi because she was the first person in years who asked nothing of him. She didn't want a seat at his table. She wanted a business partner. Somewhere between the Afang disaster and the 1 a.m. calls, she became his safe place. the one person with whom he could be unimpressive and entirely himself. He knows she loves him. He's known for months. He told himself that kindness without clarity was still kindness. He was wrong. And tonight, alone in his sole apartment, he picks up his phone and opens their chat, scrolls back to the Afang video, watches it once. Then he opens a different conversation, his mother's name at the top of the screen, and stares at it without typing anything. If you were a man caught between two kinds of love, the love that was chosen for you and the love that arrived without permission, what would you do about it? Aditi does not fall apart. This is where people who don't know her well get this wrong. They see the expressiveness, the laugh that fills a room, and they assume that when she breaks, she will break visibly, loudly, the way she does everything else. She does not. She wakes up the morning after the call, makes her tea, sits at her desk, and opens her laptop. She has 3 client emails. She answers them. She has a team meeting at 10. She runs it. She is present, sharp, and prepared. Nobody in that meeting would know that anything had shifted. But something has shifted. Quietly, permanently. Like a bone that heals slightly wrong after a fracture. Everything still works, but you feel it when the weather changes. She stops replying to his memes. Not all at once. She just starts taking longer. An hour becomes a day becomes 3. Ji-hoon sends a funny video on Wednesday. She watches it, laughs once, privately, alone, and does not reply. Friday, he sends a voice note. "Are you okay?" She types back, "Yes, just busy." He knows. She can feel it through the screen. But he does not push. And the not pushing, the accepting of her withdrawal without a fight, tells her everything. She was never the one he was going to choose. She was the place he rested while he figured out who that person was. Kwalima does not say, "I told you so." Not once. Not even with her eyes, which is the harder thing to control. She just shows up, brings food, sits on the couch, watches terrible television with Aditi for 3 consecutive Saturdays without mentioning Ji-hoon's name, unless Aditi mentions it first. Aditi mentions it once. On the 3rd Saturday, somewhere between the 2nd episode and the 3rd, she says, "Do you think he knew the whole time?" Kwalima is quiet for a moment. I think he knew and didn't know, both at the same time. That's not an answer. It's the only honest one. Aditi pulls her knees up to her chest. Outside the window, the city moves the way cities do, indifferent, continuous, unbothered by the private griefs of the people inside its buildings. "I keep thinking about the Afang," she says, and then she laughs, short and real and slightly painful. "He was so bad at it." Kwalima smiles. "Terrible. The color alone. Don't." They are both laughing now, and it is not the kind of laughing that means everything is fine. It is the kind that means they have been friends long enough to find the small, warm things inside the painful ones. It is the kind of laughing that is also, quietly, grieving. 3 months pass. Aditi pours herself back into work with the particular focus of a woman who has decided that her own life is the most interesting thing available to her. She launches a second product. She speaks on a panel. She reads the books Ji-hoon sent, all of them, because they are good books and she is not going to let heartbreak take her reading from her. She does not delete the chat. She does not block his number. She is not that kind of bitter, the kind that needs to erase things to survive them. She just moves, forward, steadily, the way she has always moved when the ground shifts beneath her. She is wearing the red dress again when she meets Min-ho. Same dress, different event. A small industry gathering, the kind where the conversation is better because the room is smaller. She has just finished speaking on a panel about building under pressure, real pressure, the kind that does not come with a safety net, and she is at the side of the room with a drink, unwinding, when someone approaches her. Not to network. That is the first thing she notices. He does not have his hand extended before he reaches her. He does not open with his company name or his title. He just walks up and says, "That thing you said about starting over, about how it is not starting over, it is just starting from a different place. I have been thinking about it since you said it." She looks at him properly. He is Korean Ghanaian, quietly built, the kind of person who takes up exactly the space they need and not an inch more. There is something in his face that is attentive in a way that is different from Ji-hoon's attention. Ji-hoon paid attention the way a person admires something, with warmth and distance simultaneously. This man is paying attention the way a person listens, like what she says next actually matters to what he does next. "Min-ho," he says, "I run a small logistics company, currently trying not to run it into the ground." He says this without self-deprecation, without performance, just fact. "Can I get you another drink and hear more about that starting from a different place theory?" She almost says no. Not because she does not want to, because she is 3 months out of something that felt real, and she is not entirely sure she trusts her own judgment about men who seem genuine. She has been wrong about that before. But she says yes, and they talk for 2 hours in the corner of that room while the event moves around them, about building things, about fear, about what it costs to bet on yourself when nobody else will, about food, about their respective terrible cooking disasters. He does not make her feel seen the way Ji-hoon made her feel seen. Ji-hoon's attention felt like standing under a warm light. This is different. This feels like being in a conversation where both people are equally present, where the light goes both ways. He does not ask for her number when they are done. He says, "I'd like to continue this, if that's all right with you." She gives him her card. He takes it with both hands. He follows up 6 days later. Not a meme, a voice note. Unhurried, specific. "I found that book you mentioned, the one about pressure and creative output. I think you will love page 47. Also, I attempted to make jollof rice last night, and I need you to know I did not burn it. This felt important to mention." Aditi listens to it twice. Then she sits with her phone in her hand for a moment, feeling something she cannot immediately name. It is smaller than what she felt with Ji-hoon, quieter. It does not arrive like weather. It arrives like a door opening in a room she forgot was there. She types back. "Page 47 had better be worth it, and I need proof about the jollof." He sends a photo. It is genuinely decent jollof. She shows Kwalima. Kwalima looks at the photo, looks at Aditi, looks back at the photo. "Okay," she says. "I like him." So, soulmates, have you ever mistaken beautiful gestures for intention? Tell us how you managed it in the comment section. Remember to subscribe. Your engagement and encouragement helps this community grow stronger. And now, the rain. Because Ji-hoon calls. 3 months of near silence and then his name on her screen at 9 p.m. on a Thursday, and her thumb hovering over it for 4 full seconds before she answers. "I need to see you," he says. "I'm here." "Here where?" "Outside." She goes down. She does not know why she goes down. She will ask herself this for a long time afterward. Maybe it is closure. Maybe it is the part of her that still needs to hear something true from him, face to face, without the buffer of a screen. Maybe it is simpler than that. Maybe it is just that it is Ji-hoon, and some part of her has not finished yet. The rain starts before she reaches the street. By the time she sees his car at the curb, she is already wet. He is inside. The engine is running. She can see him through the glass. The same stillness, the same jaw, the same hands that once made terrible afang in an expensive kitchen and laughed about it at 1 a.m. She knocks on the window. It rolls down 2 inches. "Ji-hoon." Her voice finds the crack in itself on the second syllable. "Look at me." He does not look. She can see his knuckles on the steering wheel, white, tight. the stillness that costs something to hold. "Look me in the eyes," she says, and her voice is no longer cracking, it is breaking. The sound of something that held for a long time finally giving way completely. "Look me in the eyes and tell me you don't love me. Say it. If it's true, just say it, and I will walk away and never bring this to your door again." The rain comes down. The engine idles. His knuckles do not loosen. He does not look. And the window rolls back up, and Ji-hoon Yul drives away. And Aditi stands in the rain and watches the taillights disappear around the corner and does not move, does not speak, does not do anything at all for a long time. Because he did not say it. He drove away without saying it. And they both know what that means. Ji-hoon Yul is in a hotel room tonight. He did not go back to Seoul. He is sitting on the edge of a bed in a city that is not his, holding a phone with two conversations open. One is his mother's name, the other is Aditi's. He has not typed anything in either. Aditi is home. She is dry now. She has changed her clothes. She is sitting at her desk and the screen in front of her is open to a new pitch deck. The first slide reads, Aditi Ventures, Season 2. She stares at it for a moment. Then she starts to type. Kwalima texts her at 11 p.m. You okay? Aditi replies. Getting there. Kwalima sends back a single yellow flower emoji. Aditi smiles at her screen, sets the phone down, keeps working. Min-ho texts her at 11:04 p.m. He does not know what happened tonight. He just says, Hope your Thursday was good. Mine involved a fire alarm and a very confused cat. Story for another time. She laughs, out loud, alone in her apartment. The real laugh, sudden and unguarded. She types back, Saturday, tell me everything. So, here is the question I am leaving with you tonight. Ji-hoon Park drove away from a woman standing in the rain. He didn't say he didn't love her. He couldn't. Because it wasn't true, and they both knew it. He drove away anyway, back toward the life arranged for him, toward the family that built him, toward obligations that don't care about yellow flowers or midnight calls. If the walls had never existed, if the arrangement, the status, and the weight of inheritance had never entered the room, would he have chosen her? And then, here's the harder question. The one this story has been building toward since the very first raindrop. Must all love end in marriage to count as love at all? Or is it possible, painful, imperfect, and entirely possible that some loves are real and whole and true and still not meant to be kept? If this story found you tonight, leave a comment. Tell me where you're watching from and what this made you feel. If you aren't subscribed yet, this is your sign.